A weekend trend that is going to put us up into the high 50s later on in the week, but however, rain on the horizon. We'll find out why it's much needed rain for the Skywatch Weather Center.
Also, actor and comedian Bob Saget is found dead in his Orlando hotel room.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Arrested, suspected of shooting his 17-year-old daughter. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, Joplin police respond to a 911 call of shots fired and find a 17-year-old suffering from a gunshot wound. It happened shortly before 10 last night on the 300 block of South Connor. EMS responders took the female victim to Mercy Hospital in critical condition. We're told she died this morning at the hospital. Well, at the scene yesterday, police arrested the 17-year-old's father, 59-year-old Todd Mays. He's currently in custody at the Joplin City Jail awaiting formal charges. We'll have the latest on this story tonight on the KOAM News at 5. Well, if you wanted warmer temps and sunshine, you're in luck. Michael Hayslip joins us with a first look at the forecast.
And I tell you what, Tanya, the big factor is, number one, yeah, we're going to have the warmth. We're actually extremely lucky that we picked up a little rain over the weekend, because by the time Friday rolls around, oh man, we are going to want it. We're going to be abnormally dry, but also too abnormally warm as well. Let's take a look at the Skywatch storm tracker, the ridge, the upside down U, if you will, of the jet stream. Now, while it's sweeping through the colder air this morning, chilly, all the way down into the teens, eventually this ridge begins to move due east, and as it does, everything underneath it ends up with abnormally warm January temperatures. The Skywatch storm tracker, clear as can be, as we've got nothing but clear skies and a whole lot of sunshine outside of Television City. Gone is that snow of the past from last week. Our temperatures right now, remember, we were as low as 11 degrees this morning. We've already seen a 30-degree jump up in places like Neosho and Parsons. Joplin sits at 41, along with Carthage and Miami. And interestingly enough, Fort Scott and Nevada, those were actually our clubhouse leaders. They were up around 23, 24 degrees this morning. Now, high 30s, but you can't complain. It's still a gorgeous, gorgeous mid-afternoon and plenty of sunshine left. Top out about 44, 45 degrees, right on par for where we normally be. We'll talk about our daily almanac coming up here in just a little bit. But here's the great thing. Overnight, right around that freezing mark. And we'll talk about our daily highs, but look at the overnight lows. Tanya, well above the 32-degree mark. Now, as we move through this, we have to discuss some elevated fire conditions as well. So, wind and humidity, that's what we'll break down here in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Michael. Australian officials release tennis superstar Novak Djokovic from detention, and a judge rules he can have a visa. Topping World Watch, that visa would allow him to play in next week's Australian Open. He'd been detained because he recently recovered from COVID-19 and is not vaccinated. Australia has very strict vaccination and lockdown rules, and many Australians are angry that Djokovic is getting special treatment. But the judge ruled the organizers gave Djokovic a proper medical exemption. The decision to give the world's #1 tennis player a visa could still be overruled by immigration officials. And a baby lost during the chaotic airport evacuation of tens of thousands of Afghans is reunited with his relatives after 5 months. The father of 2-month-old Sohail Ahmadi handed the infant to an American soldier over an airport wall among scrambling crowds desperate to flee the Taliban. After searching for his son for 3 days, the father boarded a flight to the U.S. with his wife and 4 other children. A taxi driver says he found the baby crying and alone and took him home to raise along with his other children. Social media posts and police helped to reunite Sohail with his grandfather in Afghanistan. And soon he's expected to be flown to Michigan to be with his parents and siblings. Well, fans and fellow comedians are mourning the sudden loss of Bob Saget. The Full House star and host of America's Funniest Home Videos was found dead in an Orlando hotel room on Sunday. Police say there are no signs of drug use or foul play. The 65-year-old was playing comedy shows and posted on social media that he was loving every minute of it. CBS News' Jamie Wax has more.
Hi, it's time now for This Week in History.
Bob Saget's rapid rise to stardom actually started in news.
F.W. Woolworth was born. He had two sisters who were 5 and 10.
Not as a newsman, but as an in-house comedian on the morning program on this network in 1987. The show didn't last a year.
I was there 5 months, and then next thing I knew, I was fired, and then I got the job on Full House.
As beloved widowed dad Danny Tanner to 3 young girls, Saget soon became a household name.
Girls, I am taking all 3 of you out for Father-Daughter Day.
2 years later, he was the first host of America's Funniest Home Videos and the star of 2 top-rated primetime shows.
When you look back at your life, it's like you've had multiple careers, right? I mean,
I'm having them
really
right now.
incredible.
Saget was born in Philadelphia in 1956. After graduating from Temple University, he moved to Los Angeles and became a fixture in comedy clubs, where he was known for raunchy sets.
But we made these children, my wife and I. We actually made.
As a regular on the stand-up circuit, Saget continued to draw from those early days, injecting risque, profanity-filled material free from the squeaky clean image he projected on TV.
Everything below my belt is safe.
New generations heard only his voice as the narrator on How I Met Your Mother,
I'm going to tell you an incredible story.
and knew him as a recurring Danny Tanner on Fuller House.
Bob Saget transcended generations. So older comics, younger comics, everyone in the middle loved Bob Saget.
Offstage, Saget worked tirelessly to raise attention and millions of dollars to fight scleroderma after losing his sister to the rare tissue disease.
Humor is the only way my family survived.
Saget spoke to CBS's Dr. John LaPook last month after his loss.
It is so healthy to laugh, and I'm out there doing it, and I know it's healing for people.
Jamie Wax, CBS News.
That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, puppy scams.
The Better Business Bureau is warning against online pet scams. I'm Anthony Purro with tips to avoid falling for these schemes.
And later, we're making Florida sunshine strawberry salsa in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. The Better Business Bureau says online pet scams continue to be a problem during the pandemic. Anthony Pura has more on how to protect yourself.
2 years after Ashley Brown's dog Maddox passed away, she decided it was time to get another Doberman.
My family, they always send me links to different breeders.
Brown fell in love with a puppy she saw on a website called James Doberman. She reached out to the site's contact page and then exchanged several text messages, and she says eventually paid nearly $3,000 to have the puppy shipped. But the dog never arrived.
We showed up at the airport and he wasn't there. We had went out and bought new bedding, new crates, all kinds of new toys.
Brown showed us screenshots of 4 different payments she says she made with credit cards and a payment app for the dog and shipping. We reached out to the website and were told in a series of emails that she never sent such amounts of money and that James Doberman is no scam.
I followed up with them like once a week for probably 3 or 4 weeks, asking again for my refund, but I obviously didn't get it.
Pet scams exploded during the pandemic. Reports filed with the Better Business Bureau show the amount of money Americans lost tripled in 2020 compared to the previous year.
What would be a major red flag?
There's no obvious red flags in these.
The BBB's Steve Baker says there are ways to make sure the puppy is real.
Ask the seller to do some sort of video conference, Zoom or something like that, holding the puppy.
Check petscams.com, which offers a list of potentially fake sites, and do an image search of the pet promised. We found the same picture of the puppy Brown wanted on another breeder's Facebook page posted a year and a half ago.
I don't think I would purchase one online. I think I would always go there in person.
Brown plans to continue her search, hoping to get another dog like Maddox. Anthony Pura, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Join me today as we take a tasty trip to Florida, which is the winter strawberry capital of the nation. One taste of these is all it'll take to turn your wintertime blues into lots of ooh, it's so good.
But first, Michael Hayslip returns with your complete forecast.
I know it was a little bit chilly this morning, but coming off of that record-setting December that we had, and That beginning of what was a very cold 2022, we are in store for a glorious 4-state week. Now, as we look at our daily almanac for this January 10th, we're going to be right on par for our average high today. But after that, we're going to blow this thing away by a good 10 to 12 degrees all the way up until the weekend. Here's the, I don't want to say the bad thing about it, but I want everybody apprised of this. Our precipitation, that number is not going to budge. As a matter of fact, we're going to be abnormally dry to the point where, yeah, we've got to talk about some elevated fire concerns. As we take a live look outside of Television City, these readings from Joplin Regional Airport, 41 degrees, still a little bit of a wind chill in effect, but the wind hasn't been too bad, just about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Not going to have to worry about any gusts up to 20, 25 miles per hour. And I want to dive into that a little bit later because usually when we talk about warmer weather, especially this time of year, we've got to fight that wind. That's not going to be the case for at least the next 48 hours. What will be the case, abnormally dry. That humidity already down to 33% here at the noon hour, which means I honestly thought we'd bottom out about 30%. We may see it drop down into the high 20s. So if you're holding all that Christmas tree, if you've got any limbs down, anything like that, probably not doing it today, please. Now, we don't have any red flag warnings, no advisories or watches in effect. But at the same point in time, please know that with it being so dry and the wind not only beginning to pick up, but also eventually shifting from the south, that is going to give us those fire concerns. This is a very interesting map right here, this 24-hour temperature change. Earlier this morning, we were at a minus 20 degrees colder this morning than what it was on Sunday morning. But now, you have to remember, yesterday, our temperatures went straight down. Today, and for the next couple of days, we're going to be on the upward rise of the roller coaster. So we're actually in the positives and want to pay attention to everything out here. Is that plus 10, plus 17 Billings and Denver? And what that is a result of is the ridge of the jet stream. And when we talk about the ridge, that's the upside down U shape, because this thing is going to move just squarely across to the east, which means warmer temperatures and blue skies and sunshine, not only for today, but all the way really until we get to about Thursday night, Friday morning. The blue indicates the high pressure system. Can't beat it. As a matter of fact, the contiguous 48, very, very quiet, had early morning thunderstorms off the Atlantic coast. Those have now pushed off to the Atlantic. We will pay attention this week and probably have some national conversations about the Pacific Northwest because they're going to be inundated with another round of the old Pacific train, and that's going to result in flooding for them. But unlike what we saw a couple weeks ago, where that system moved in, grabbed that moisture off the Pacific, came across the Rockies, not going to be the case. This thing's going to move off to the east, stay up by the Canadian border, which is going to result in sunshine, blue skies, and above normal temperatures for us. In fact, tonight, as we dip just down below the freezing point, will really be the last night that we do that in some point in time. Look at this 7-day forecast. Sunny skies. Remember, we talked about our average high being about 44, 45 this time of year. Look at that, 10 degrees above average. Tanya, I think the really key factor is those overnight lows as well. We're going to be riding mid to high 30s. We should be down high 20s is where we should be. So even when you wake up early in the morning, it's going to be absolutely delightful. We're not fighting the wind. And also too, yeah, once again, abnormally dry. Friday is going to be a little bit of a boon for us. Friday night, we begin to pick up some Gulf moisture, feeds us a little bit of rain. Yeah, I know, chilly weekend, but at that point in time, we need some December precipitation or January precipitation.
For sure. Well, I'm going to enjoy the sunshine while we have it the next few days. That'll be great.
And I think the huge factor in all this, it's not blowing in from the south at 40 miles per hour.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Michael. Well, we take this time to honor today's 4th-state hero, Staff Sergeant Everett Ressler in the United States Army. The Chanute, Kansas native joined the military in World War II, fighting at the Battle of North Winds in Austria. The soldier was stationed in France, Germany, and in Austria. Ressler earned a Silver Star, the Bronze Star, and the Purple Heart. To Staff Sergeant Everett Ressler, we thank you, our 4th-state hero. Well, if you've got the midwinter blues, you're going to want to check out this recipe. Howard shows us how to make a Florida Sunshine strawberry salsa in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
I don't know about you, but this time of year, you're probably not thinking about going to the market to get freshly picked produce. Well, you know what? You really should be, since it's peak season for Florida strawberries. And let me tell you, this year's crop is exceptional. Did you know that Florida is known as the winter strawberry capital of the nation? That means right now, through the end of March, these fields are brimming with strawberries, which will add a spark of sunshine to any day. So what makes them so special? First of all, they're planted and harvested by hand, which means each ruby red berry is given lots of TLC. And unlike many other fruits, these are vine ripened, so the flavor is second to none. I can't think of a better way to get rid of the wintertime blues than to add these to all sorts of recipes. There's everything from strawberry stuffed French toast to a to die for strawberry pie. And how about a fun and fruity salsa that goes with almost anything? It's simply a mixture of coarsely chopped Florida strawberries, chopped red onion, yellow pepper, jalapenos, cilantro, and a squeeze of lime. We can enjoy it with chips or top some barbecue brisket tacos with it to add a burst of flavor. Maybe spoon it over grilled chicken for a novel change of pace. And if you'd like, toss in some mango or avocado to take it over the top. To get the recipe for our Florida Sunshine Strawberry Salsa, simply visit our website. Who would think something this tasty could be so good for you? So what are you waiting for? Head to the market while Florida strawberries are still at their peak. This is Howard from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found fresh from the field way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4-state market prices.
Highs in the mid-40s today, and then get ready for a January warm-up. Mid-50s all the way to the end of the week. It will be nice to have a little rain that sets in on Friday. We're going to need it, and that's going to be followed by a little weekend cold front.
All right, what do you have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, there's been a massive jump in pediatric hospital admissions for COVID. That includes kids who were in the hospital for other reasons and then tested positive. We're going to have the latest in Health Watch. Plus, the Omicron variant continues to spread across the area, leading to a rise in cases and hospitalizations. We're going to look at the local number of cases and the latest on a structure fire in Miami, Oklahoma, where smoke can be seen from miles away. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's all coming up on KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at Noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.